Grand Rising, if you want to know the exact reason why your life is the way that it is, listen to this live. It's going to be a short one. Listen to it on the way to work. Listen to it at the gym. Listen to it wherever. Why are we the exact way that we are right now? The great I am. Grand Rising, everybody. The great I am. If I'm ever talking to somebody and they want to know why their life is the way that it is, we first start with the I am. Why is that important? I am is where everything starts, where everything originates. Before the world was, there was the great I am. And that's literally everything that happens around us. Since this matrix system is moldable, everything comes from our deepest I am. What the hell does that mean? I talked about this so many times, but I think it's good for a refresher. There's a quote that says, "Show me the boy until he's 7 and I will show you the man." What does that mean to us? Our subconscious mind is most impressionable from when we are born until age 7. You know, I said, oh, these kids are sponges. They literally are sponges. So what a child hears repetitively and often is what becomes the I am that we live from. The exact reason why you are the way that you are is because of your I am. Guys, I moved into a new space and I'm not going to show you the whole thing yet until it's done. You can see this here. Like, this is from my other living room, but there's like lots and lots of new spaces in here for me to get creative with. So, going back to the I am. Show me the boy until he's 7 and I will show you the man. So if you hear when you are young how your parents can't afford things, how are we going to pay these bills? We don't have money for that. Mom, can I have this? No, it's too expensive. Put it back. When we hear these type of things, that impresses the subconscious mind with money is hard to come by. Money is hard to make. We don't have enough. If your parents didn't give you the love that you deserved, which is the case for most people, you end up with the I amness of I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of being loved. I am not good enough. If your parents just didn't pay enough attention to you. If your parents just say, oh, you're so stupid, you'll never amount to anything. Or if a teacher said that to you. That becomes your I amness, the exact reason why you are the way that you are in your life. I heard children hear the word no 30,000 times. Find the people that are your yeses. Find the people that want to elevate you and your dreams. Do not stay around people that choose to stay small. You are who you hang with. Going back to the I am, because this is so important. I want you to think back to your childhood. First, before you do that, I want you to look at your life. If your life is not where you want it financially, in relationships, in family, having the things that you want, in the home that you live in, if that is not where you want it to be, it all stems back to one short sentence: I am. I am not able to make money. I am such a loser. I'm so unlucky. Oh my God, I'm so fat. We say these sentences and think that they have zero meaning. Aside the fact that words cast spells. The spell was cast when we were young children. The spell was cast every time we heard our parents fight about money. The spell was cast every time you saw that your parent was cheating on the other. That's when the spell was cast. We then live from that I amness the rest of our lives unless we do things like this, unless we understand the importance of the I am. I am, or the two most important words for what comes after them, is what we become. What is your I am? Your homework today is figuring out what your I am is. We do this a lot, but it's so important. Your I am isn't, I am amazing, I am wonderful. That is not your I am. That is not your true I am. There are, in fact, there's less than 5% of people that have a positive mindset. So if that is the case, your I am is not, I'm amazing, I am great, I am wonderful. There are people that can say, I am wealthy, and they're actually wealthy, but they can also have the same I am, that I am not lovable, that they don't have or attract good relationships. So you could see a person that's a multi-millionaire. You think they have it all. Look at the celebrities that are married and divorced over and over and over again. They might know how to make money, but they don't know how to be loved, because their I amness is not I am loved, I am lovable, I am amazing, I am wonderful. They might believe that money is easy to make. They might believe that I am a god or a goddess, but that doesn't mean that I am loved. That doesn't mean that I am lovable. That doesn't mean that I received the love that I needed in my lifetime early on to have the I am that I'm so lovable. Everybody that meets me loves me. Everyone that I meet is in love with me and enamored with me. So many of these celebrities are alone, and they end up alone because deep down their I amness is not I am lovable. It could be I'm not worthy. Even though they have all of these things, deep down their I am does not match what their exterior life might look like to people on the outside. So I want you to think about this. What is your I am? And I want you to write it in the comment section. This is an important exercise, and I will give you examples why once people start to write in the comments their I am. My I am for a long time was I am always in pain in order to make money. Because I was a dancer. I was a professional dancer from 17 years old. And the only way that I knew how to make money was by using my dance skills. But I was in so much pain that I equated pain with money. And it wasn't until I started to do this work that I am vulnerable. Thank you for that. Who else? There's people in here. What is your I am? I'm giving you my example. That I always believed that money was hard to make, and I had to be in pain to make money. Again, until I started doing this work. And once I started doing this work, I realized there were so many other ways for me to make money with my talents. With makeup, with fashion, with styling, with wardrobe styling. And once I understood that my belief system was like, I got to be in pain to make a very small amount of money. It wasn't even like I was making a lot of money and in pain. I was making a little bit of money and in pain. Look at this. I love it. I am alone. I am unworthy of money and love. I am sacrificing myself for others. This is so important for everyone else to see this, because once you find your I am, you can literally, I want you to also do this. Write down what your I am is, and then write down everything in your life that relates to that. Maybe you're in a poor relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship where a person just doesn't show up for you, or doesn't treat you well, or abuses you, or cheats on you. Maybe in your job, you're being so overworked and so underpaid. So once you figure out your I am, write down what your I am is, and everything in your life that you are currently not happy or satisfied with, and correlate it to that. And your whole life of the exact reason you are in the position that you are in right now is going to unfold for you. The only way that we could change our reality is by understanding why we're there in the first place. What other I ams? I am misunderstood. I'm only loved when I surrender to others' ego. That is so powerful. That is so specific. That is so much self-awareness. I've been understood my whole life, but I don't give a fuck. Some people, it will bother them, right? For some people, if they feel misunderstood, or they feel that, you know, I'm so different and nobody accepts me for who I am. There's some people that can't stand that stuff. But that's actually always been my superpower. Of how different and how unique that I've always been. I am not safe. I am misguided as a young person. So if you constantly believe that I am misguided, you're never going to go in the right direction. And if you were misguided, there's some point in your life where you have to take 100% responsibility for where you're going now. Because if you are misguided, that means that somebody else was in the driver's seat of where you're going. So now, your I amness has to be, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going in the direction of my dreams. I'm getting all the things that I always wanted. Another one is I am unprotected. So you're always feeling unsafe. You are always attracting scenarios where you don't feel protected. And that could be from parents that just didn't show up for you. It could be something that easy that becomes that significant in your life. I am too much. There's a couple people that over, months of us doing this, I am too much has come up. So what do? You minimize yourself. When I was working as a makeup artist, I was a celebrity makeup artist for several years. And I always had to wear black all the time because that's what part of the job. You always have to be in black. So my whole wardrobe started to morph into black. But with that, it made me smaller because a lot of the actresses that I work with were so insecure. I had a photographer not hire me because he said, you're too attractive. You're too attractive to work with these actresses and they would be very insecure around you and they wouldn't be free to do their job properly. This is for still photography, for headshots. So I was like, wow, okay. So little things like that tend to make you smaller. You keep hearing these things. You can only wear black. Don't wear any cleavage around the actresses. Things like that. So little by little, I was becoming smaller and smaller because of other people's insecurities. But now in my life, the last several years, I've become bolder than I ever have. And I've always been bold. I've always been a big mouth. I've always been a rebel. But little things happen over time and all of a sudden you're shrinking smaller and smaller. Okay, who said, where was that comment at? The I am too much. Someone else, I am mistreated by men. If you feel that you are mistreated by men, it's because you were probably had some kind of abuse or self-worth thing when you were a child. So you allow people to treat you less than how you should be treated. Stacy says, I am distrustful. I am too sensitive. That all stems from somewhere. And when we finally understand our I amness, we can then shift and change our reality. If you look at your life right now, it is a direct correlation to your I am. The reason why I'm stressing this so much is because this is the exact reason why you are where you are. This is the exact reason why I am where I am. Right? I had someone in business screw me over royally out of over $1 million. And this has happened over the course of the past 2 years. And that ruined my business so much because I felt unsafe. Right? I am unsafe. But where did that I am unsafe come from? It didn't come from the person that did it to me. It did not come from the person that did it to me. It came from my I amness. And that I amness came from my childhood. So that's a safety thing. I'm not safe. People are not safe. When you didn't have the upbringing that you could have or should have, all of these things come into play. In your current reality, it doesn't matter it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. It does not matter. Your I amness lives with you the rest of your life unless you change it. Give me some more examples of your I ams. I had a lot of people give some I ams. I want to see more of your I ams of why you believe that your life is the way that it is because of what I am. Let's see if I missed anybody. I heard back in 2007, change your brain, change your life. Yes. I am angry all the time. There are many people that have had trauma in their life that causes them to have the I am of I am angry. Not I am that I am. I want your I amness of what truly emanates you. I am unworthy. I am not happy. I am lonely. Thank you. I am lonely. So for people that have the I am lonely and you don't recognize or realize that that is your I amness, you keep wondering why you are alone. Okay, I'm going to get to these. These are really good ones. So somewhere in childhood, you did not have the nurturing that you truly needed. And you always felt alone. Like, for example, growing up in a household that was never safe. It was always like a war zone in my house growing up. So I never felt like I had a home. And so I just came upon this literally within the last like month or 2 months. I realized when I lived in my apartment in LA, like I never felt like it was my home. I lived in there for 12 years. Never felt like it was my home. I would always stay in my bedroom. Even if I was by myself in my apartment, I would never be in the living room. I would always be in my bedroom. And I'm like, why did I do that? And then I go and think about my upbringing. I was always in my bedroom. I was never in the living room. I was never with my mother. Like I was always in my bedroom. I didn't want to be around the energy in the house. So I was always in my bedroom. So when I moved to my first apartment in LA, however many years ago that was, I was always in my room. And then when I moved out of that apartment into my last place, I always wanted to be in my room, but the place was so much smaller. So it finally felt like a more safer space. But whenever I would go anywhere, like nowhere ever felt like home. And I'm like, why do I feel like this? And then I uncovered why. I never felt at home in my own home growing up. I didn't feel welcome in that space. So when you don't feel welcome, just for an example, you will start to shrink yourself. Like, I forget what the person's I amness said. But you become smaller from the I amness. Same, parents fighting, and yelling too much. I am unstable. I am not safe. So you can understand why the I am is so important for you to change your life. If you're not where you want to be financially, if you're not where you want to be in relationships, in, well, like I said, family, home, jobs, whatever that it is, your car, this all stems from your I am. It is the most powerful sentence that we subconsciously, or that subconsciously lives us every single day. I'm at the point where I am none of those things or those feelings. That's amazing. So that's when you finally shift and change it. You don't identify with that old I amness anymore. There are always I amnesses to uncover. Is there anyone in here that is absolutely happy with their job, their relationships, the amount of money that they make, the home that they live in, the car that they drive, their world in general? Is there anyone in here that is completely happy with all of those things? Let's see some more I ams. I am not a good person. Somewhere along the lines, someone made you feel that you're not a good person. And it was probably your parents or the people that raised you or teachers, that you are not a good person. So you have to dig back and figure out where that stemmed from. Because if you feel like you're not a good person, you're probably a people pleaser. You're probably always doing more than what you need to or what you should do for others. And that leaves you with empty hands if you're constantly giving to people all the time because you feel like you're not a good person. So you constantly try harder and harder to make people think that you're a good person. I am stuck. I am not good enough. Another, I am stuck. I am traumatized. I am lonely. So, I am content but not happy. I am not able to walk. Okay, we have nopes. Yes, I finally am. Sandy, amazing. There's a couple of no's. I am too dependent. How can we help kids who are struggling? I work with foster kids and they need more help than they're getting. You can start by teaching them the I amness. Literally right here, what I am teaching you, this can change a child's trajectory of their life. When you explain the I amness to kids and how important it is, this can literally change the direction of their absolute life. If we would have learned this when we were children about our I am and given them examples of what that means, their entire life would shift and change because they will never forget this lesson as long as they live because they understand how important it is. If a child tells you, like, I am sad, you have to uncover that. Why are you sad? You know, what happened to you and things like that, and you'll be able to understand the psychology of a child. But this is manifestation. This is prayer. This is literally everything that shapes the reality. I am too giving. I say I'm a child of God, but I feel bad still. Many people that are religious feel that they're a child of God and they don't feel good at all. It doesn't matter if you believe that you're a child of God or you don't. That doesn't change your I amness. That doesn't change the trauma that you face. That doesn't change the experiences that you had. Because not everybody thinks of God as the Almighty. So if your parents, let's say, don't believe in a higher power or whatever, or people around you, whatever, then that doesn't, it's not going to shift your reality any because you believe something that they don't. I'm constantly whisper positive I ams in my 1.5-year-old grandson's ear. Karen, that is so amazing. I'm going to read that again. I constantly whisper positive I ams in my 1.5-year-old grandson's ear. What she is doing is programming her grandson for success. I wish that our parents had the understanding of this when we were growing up. How powerful words are, that words cast spells. So she's programming the mind of her 1.5-year-old. Show me the boy until he's 7 and I will show you the man. What our subconscious hears from when we are born till the age of 7 is the most impressionable time in a human's life. Because every I am that they hear or don't hear, they hear their parents arguing all the time. They see their mother or father being abused or abusive. They are abused. I'm not worthy. I am worthless. That's where all that stems from. So Karen is literally programming the mind of her grandson as young as 1.5 years because, yes, show me the boy until he's 7 and I'll show you the man. That is how we shift and change reality, especially for the future generations. If you have kids or if you have grandchildren, this is so important to teach them the I am. Our generation got gaslighted about our feelings. 100% on purpose. I've been paying attention and I'm grateful for Krystal Tini. Thank you, Karen. Karen's the OG in here. Can we talk about these glasses that I'm obsessed with, that they're leopard with eyeballs on them? Unlike parents or family that constantly tell you that you don't do anything and compare you with other success and you are unsuccessful in life constantly. And there will always be people that will compare you to others or say, guys, I just showed you these. They are actually for Halloween, but these will be all year long. These will be all year long in this residence because I like very strange things. Is there anyone else that wants to share their I am? This is, can you imagine if the entire collective consciousness change their I am. Thank you. Thank you. This is why I talk about also the map of consciousness all the time. If you would look at the map of consciousness and understand, now I'm going to look for the book. Is that it? I think that might be it. Let me see. Yes, it is. It's always close by. Okay. The map of consciousness and the I am are the two most important things that we can ever learn in our entire life. It's got to be close by. The map of consciousness has to be... Where is it? Okay, I was like... Now, if the collective consciousness understood the I am, we would not be stuck in the survival paradigm. If you look at the majority of the world, everyone is in survival mode, right? Everyone is in a state of survival all the time. Why is that? Because we were programmed by our I am, but we are also programmed on a daily basis, watching TV, scrolling through our social media, the things that we see and witness. Nicole says, I am healing and today will be great. Let's go. So we're programmed on a daily basis. Oh my God, there's a comet that's coming toward Earth. There's a scary new virus. Take this prescription medication. Take this injection. Do what we say or else. If you don't do this, you're not going to be able to fly on a plane. Everything is fear, and that fear is in the survival paradigm. I've shown this so many times. This is where the majority of the world lives, in the survival paradigm. What's in the survival paradigm, you ask? We'll start from the top of the survival paradigm. Pride. Below that is anger. We're getting lower. These are going into the lowest dimensions and frequencies on Earth. Anger, desire, fear is under that. Grief is under that. Apathy is under that. Guilt is under that. Shame is at the very bottom. Shame is the lowest frequency on the map of consciousness. How many people live in shame? We all have shame about something. But if 90% and above live in the survival paradigm, the only outcome that we could possibly experience in this fake matrix system is living in a state of survival. So now that Pluto has shifted directly into Aquarius, or is direct with Aquarius, we've been ramping up this freedom era since 2020 mostly, right? We've been ramping up this freedom era because the astrological shift is pushing people into that mode, is pushing people into reason and integrity, which is the next step on the map of consciousness, is reason and integrity. Right above the last part of survival paradigm is courage. So what have you seen lately in the last several years is people performing acts of courage, people speaking up, people speaking out, people saying no. This astrological shift is so significant for us. It's the first time in 200 years that this has happened. This age that we are shifting into right now is the diminishing of old systems. It is the collapse of government. It is the collapse of anything that embodies control. So what have you also seen in the last 5 years? More control, more control. Tie the rope around their neck tighter. Boil the frog faster. The frog doesn't know the frog is dying until it's dead. When you put it in water and it's slowly turning up the heat. That's what's been happening the last several years. Because this astrological shift is so powerful, there isn't anything that can stop it. So what are they ramping up? the survival paradigm, the fear, 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 fear. You can't do this. If you don't do this ID, you're not going to be able to buy groceries. And if you don't do this, the bank's going to close. And fear, 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 fear. So, with this astrological shift, we're going up, fam. So there's going to be a lot of scary things that are going to be thrust upon us because they don't want us to shift with the astrological shift, because it's going to be so insane, and they're doing everything possible to try and stop our consciousness from rising. So this isn't all just like, oh, it just happens to be. This is what is meant to be. We're moving, fam, into the age of Aquarius. That is where freedom lives. Do you get it? So us doing the I am work. Let's give all the middle fingers. Us doing the I am work right now is what is going to help catapult the collective consciousness into the next realm of reality. So why do you think that they are ramping up all of this craziness? The wars, the bombings, the killings, assassinating people on live TV. Why do you think this is all planned? This isn't just, oh, it's just happening. Oh, things are getting crazy. They're not getting crazy. They're being purported crazier for a reason, for an astrological reason. Millionaires don't use astrology. Billionaires do. If you want to know what's happening in this world, go read about astrology. All their stocks, all their trading, everything that happens, these events happen based on astrology. It's very important that we understand the matrix that we live in. It's time to get your head out of your ass and out of a bubble and just thinking that life is happening to you. Life is happening through you. And when I say it's happening through you, it's happening through your I am, because you are part of the co-creation of this world. Do I trust the Bible? No. The Bible has been rewritten so many times, and from what I have researched, a lot of things in the Bible were written by fallen angels that were claiming to channel God, but it wasn't really God. So I believe that there are a lot of teachings in the Bible that do have merit and that are true, but I believe also that it's sprinkled in with a lot of dishonesty, with a lot of low vibrational things. You know, people will say like, oh, history was rewritten. Do you think your religion wasn't? Your religion was made by a man. Your religion was not made by God. I don't agree with religion. I agree with a lot of teachings in religion, but I also disagree with a lot of teachings in religion. It's all a trap for control. So once you really do a really deep dive on religion and its origins, especially Christianity, why do you think that's the most popular religion? Because it was the most inverted religion. Are there great teachings within Christianity because of Jesus? Absolutely. But it was also inverted to make you believe that you could never be like Jesus and that Jesus was a God. Jesus was an ascended master. See, guys, now I get off topic, but it's also a good topic to make people understand or help people understand the matrix system. But like I said, I've been saying for the last 6 months that they made Jesus a God so that you could never think that you could ever be anything like him. But he says, do what I can do. You can do what I can do and so much more. Why do you think he said that? Because that's what he was teaching. He was teaching sovereignty. He was teaching radical self-love, radical love. He was teaching people that you could be anywhere and speak the word. You didn't have to be in a church. You didn't have to listen to a priest or a pastor. You could be anywhere and listen to his teachings. You could be anywhere and share his message. There's a lot of places to look. Any tips for digging deeper? Matrix movie has been on my mind. Listen, I don't care if you agree with what I say or if you don't. I do not care. If you're laughing and you're saying goodbye, see you later, the door's not going to hit you in the ass, or maybe it will on the way out, I don't care. If I cared what people thought about what I said, would I be sitting here? I really wouldn't. I don't care what one other human being has to say about me because I am that convicted in who I am. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you have to say. I know that I read and research everything. I know that nobody has the mind that I have. So I will sit here on my soapbox every Monday, like I've been doing for the last several years, and I will teach people and I will change people's lives. Those of you that are still indoctrinated by your religion and want to laugh about the things that I say, go ahead. I bet you've never researched your religion one day in your life about the history of it and where it came from. I guarantee you don't even know the origins of Christianity and where it came from and why it became as popular as it has today. I guarantee it. So you go on with your bad self and you say goodbye and you unfollow me and you block me. See you later. And I'll continue to drink out of my leopard eyeball cup. Astrology. If you want to know what's going to happen, what is happening right now, start reading about astrology. If you want to know the history of your religion and the origin of it, your mind's going to be blown and be prepared to have your world crumble. Too many people are brainwashed in their religion and then they say to me, oh, she's New Age and she's this and she's that. You don't know what you're talking about. Until you have read the history of where all your religion came from, then we can have the conversation. See, that's the thing. I'm never going to open my mouth about something that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm never going to sit up here and tell you something that is false information or it's something that I have never researched. Like, I'm not going to do it. If someone came up here and was talking about math and math problems, like, I'm not going to sit here and have the conversation about math. Not my strong point. The subconscious mind, my strong point. Dance, my strong point. Yoga, my strong point. Breathwork, my strong point. The history of religions, my strong point. Hair and makeup, strong point. Anything entertainment, strong point. Photography, strong point. Lighting, strong point. Decor, strong point. But the things that I don't know about, I'm not going to sit here and talk about because I'm not ignorant. That's called ignorance. I will never have a conversation with somebody when I don't know what I'm saying. So, I intend that this was helpful. I will repost this. The I amness. That's all that we need to know is our I am. And once we know our I am, we can shift our consciousness. If we shift our consciousness, we can shift the consciousness of those around us. And then we shift the other consciousness of people around in our community. Because our energy is our currency. Jesus was a yogi. Jesus was a Reiki master. So please don't believe people. They're just so misinformed that yoga is demonic and, you know, you're calling the devil with poses. It's so ridiculous. This is what I'm saying about people that are brainwashed. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. Jesus went to all these different places, Tibet, Egypt, everywhere, and he became a master at his breathwork. He became a master in yoga. He became a master in Reiki and all these other things. But their religion tells them that it's demonic. Why? Because it'll bring you peace. It doesn't bring you fear. It brings you fearlessness. I could sit here on here all day and talk about this stuff. Where can I find this? Recommendations on books or anything. I would say look at the Map of Consciousness book by David Hawkins. What other books? I don't know. I can't see any other books right now, but I'll think about recommendations. Love you all. I'll see you on Wednesday. I didn't do my testimonials last week because I was moving and it was really stressful. I love you all. Oh, this is another really good book. 3 Magic Words by Uell Anderson. I don't know. Uell. 3 Magic Words. You know what those 3 magic words are? I am God. So you can take that and do what you will with it because I know many people, oh my God, she said I am God. Okay. Anyway, happy Monday. Love you all. Figure out what your I am is. This is your homework. Write down what your I am is. And then write down all the things in your life that correspond to that. That is the first way that we change this. Love you guys. And I'll see you this week.